Welcome in, everybody, to another deep dive with us.
I'm excited for this one.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
We've been getting a lot of requests from listeners to really explore the paranormal and, everything that comes with it.
Yeah, and you came up with quite a collection of sources for this deep dive.
I did my best.
Yeah.
We've got everything from ancient spiritual texts in Arabic to, like, modern scientific papers on parapsychology, firsthand accounts of individuals with purported paranormal abilities, even some, like, old news articles.
Wow, it's like you've gathered a history of human fascination with the unknown.
Yeah, spanning centuries and continents.
That's right.
So we're not going to try to prove or disprove anything here.
Yeah.
It's more about just exploring and kind of letting the listener decide, how they feel about it all.
I love that journey through the mysteries.
Yeah, exactly. So I guess let's just jump right in.
Sounds good to me.
So we've got this text here in Arabic. It's called ueea1.pdf. And it talks about these ancient spiritual traditions like Shaivism and Qigong.
Oh, yes. Practices that aim to develop siddhi, or special powers.
Okay, so Qigong. Can you explain that a little bit more for listeners who maybe haven't heard that term before?
Sure. Qigong is a practice involving specific postures, movements, breathing techniques, and focused intention, all with the goal of cultivating and balancing energy within the body.
Okay, so it's not just like physical exercise.
No, it's much more than that. It's about working with the subtle energies of the body. And siddhi, well, that can manifest in a variety of ways, from enhanced longevity and healing abilities to extrasensory perception and even the ability to manipulate matter.
Okay, so we're talking about some pretty extraordinary stuff here.
We are indeed.
And this text actually contrasts these ancient ideas with, like, modern materialistic views. It even mentions Daniel Dennett, the philosopher.
Oh, yes.
Who argues that the soul is essentially just software running on the hardware of the brain.
That's a fascinating juxtaposition. On one hand, you have ancient traditions suggesting humans can tap into unseen forces and achieve seemingly superhuman abilities. And on the other hand, you have contemporary thinkers reducing consciousness to a purely biological phenomenon.
Right, and it makes you wonder, are these two perspectives completely incompatible? Or could there be some kind of middle ground?
I love that question.
Yeah, it's really interesting to think about. It's almost like these ancient practices were trying to hack the human system centuries before we even knew what a computer was.
Right, and the text goes on to describe specific techniques like Yanshin Qigong, which is said to promote longevity and rejuvenation.
Hold on. Longevity and rejuvenation. It almost sounds like science fiction.
It does, doesn't it? But then again, many scientific breakthroughs were once considered impossible.
That's true.
I mean, think about it. Just a century ago, the idea of instant communication across vast distances would have seemed like magic.
Right.
Now we have smartphones and video calls.
You got a point there.
Yeah.
So we've got these ancient practices focused on manipulating unseen energies within the body to achieve extraordinary results.
And it makes you wonder if there might be a scientific basis for some of these claims. Could some individuals be tapping into forces or energies that we simply haven't fully grasped yet?
That's a question I'm definitely keeping in mind as we explore the rest of these sources. But before we get too deep into the ancient world, let's jump ahead a few centuries and talk about this intriguing case from the 19th century. It involves Angelique Cotton, also known as the Electric Girl.
Ah, yes.
Ugh.
Her story is quite a ride. We have these news articles from the Oakland Tribune and the UPI describing her purported ability to generate electromagnetic forces with her body.
It sounds incredible. Objects would fly around her. People would receive shocks just by touching her.
Quite a spectacle.
It was quite a spectacle indeed.
And back then, people compared her to poltergeists, those mischievous entities known for causing disturbances.
Right.
But what's really interesting is that the sources also connect her case to individuals like Nina Kulagina, a Russian woman who supposedly moved objects with her mind in the 20th century.
Yes, Nina Kulagina's abilities were studied extensively by Soviet scientists, adding another layer of intrigue to this phenomenon. So are we witnessing a singular phenomenon manifesting in different ways across time and cultures?
It certainly seems possible.
It's like there's this thread connecting Angelique Cotton in the 19th century to Nina Kulagina in the 20th, both exhibiting inexplicable control over physical objects. And then you've got Cleopatra Stratton, this young singer, who burst onto the scene with incredible talent at a very young age.
Now, Cleopatra's case is a bit different.
Yeah.
While her abilities are extraordinary, they manifest in the realm of musical talent, not the manipulation of physical objects. Still, some might argue that her precociousness hints at the potential for exceeding normal human development.
That's an interesting point. So we have this spectrum of abilities, from alleged electromagnetism to extraordinary musical talent, all raising questions about the limits of human potential.
And what's fascinating is how these stories spark such a wide range of explanations.
Yeah.
Some people point to electromagnetism, others to unseen spiritual forces, and others still to purely psychological factors. There's no single answer that satisfies everyone.
It's exactly.
Is there a scientific basis for these abilities? Or are we venturing into the realm of the unexplained? This is where things get really interesting for me. What do you think?
Well, I think we're just scratching the surface of something truly profound.
It's like a pattern starting to emerge here, wouldn't you say?
I think so. It's not just about isolated cases or specific abilities. There seems to be a bigger question here about the untapped power of the human mind.
Right. It's like each of these cases, whether it's Angelique Cotton supposedly generating electromagnetic forces or Nina Kulagina moving objects with her thoughts, it's like they challenge the boundaries of what we think is scientifically possible.
They certainly push us to consider explanations that go beyond our current understanding of physics and biology. And what's particularly striking is that tension that keeps coming up. Between those who are so eager to embrace these possibilities and those who just demand that hard scientific evidence before they'll even consider it. Yeah, it's this constant battle throughout history, isn't it? The clash between belief and skepticism. We see it with the electric girl. We see it in the research into psychic phenomena. It's even there in those philosophical discussions about consciousness itself.
Absolutely. It really makes you wonder, are we simply limited by our current scientific paradigms?
Right.
Or are some of these phenomena genuinely beyond the reach of our current methods of investigation?
And that leads us to this even more intriguing concept that came up in the sources, reality shifts.
Ah, yes. The idea that our perceived reality might not be as fixed and stable as we assume.
Mind-bending, to say the least. What if these unexplained events are like glimpses into other realities or dimensions?
No, temporary glitches in the fabric of our own reality.
Exactly. But like you said earlier, we need to approach these ideas with curiosity, but also critical thinking. So what do these sources actually say about reality shifts? Is there any evidence to back it up?
Well, one of the sources connects this idea to the concept of morphic fields.
Morphic fields, what are those?
It's a theory proposed by biologist Rupert Sheldrake.
It suggests that there are fields of information that influence the form and behavior of living organisms.
Okay, I'm following so far.
And these morphic fields aren't bound by space and time.
Whoa, hold on. So are we saying that like telepathy or precognition could be explained by these unseen fields influencing our perceptions?
It's a possibility worth considering. If these morphic fields exist and can be manipulated, it could really change how we understand reality and human potential.
Okay, now my mind is officially blown. Let's try to bring this back to Earth for a moment, though. We've covered a lot of ground. We started with these ancient spiritual traditions like Shaivism and Qigong, suggesting that humans can develop incredible abilities.
Right.
Then we met Angelique Cotton, the electric girl in the 19th century, with her electromagnetic powers.
And then there was Nina Kulagina in the 20th century, allegedly moving things with her mind. And Cleopatra Stratton with her extraordinary musical talent.
It's like a whirlwind tour of the unexplained. All these stories pointing toward the vastness of human potential.
And the mysteries of reality itself. Exactly. And throughout this exploration, these themes just keep popping up. The power of the mind, the search for explanations beyond science, the dance between belief and skepticism.
And now we've added reality shifts into the mix.
A concept that really throws a wrench into our whole perception of what's real and what's possible.
Absolutely. And as we keep going deeper into these mysteries, it's crucial to remember that the most valuable tool we have is our own judgment.
Our ability to think critically.
Exactly.
Which brings us to a fascinating question that I don't think we've explicitly addressed yet. Could there be a biological basis for some of these abilities?
Now, that's a thought-provoking question. What if certain individuals are simply born with more sensitive sensory transducers?
Like biological receptors that let them perceive things that most of us can't even detect.
Precisely. It's like having access to a hidden spectrum of energy or information.
So what if individuals like Angelique Cotton or Nina Kulagina were simply wired differently, allowing them to tap into these unseen realms?
It's certainly a possibility. And if it's true, could these abilities be studied scientifically? Could they even be enhanced?
That's an incredible thought. It could totally revolutionize fields like medicine, communication, even space exploration.
It really highlights how important it is to stay open-minded to possibilities that might seem outlandish.
Like Arthur C. Clarke said, Any sufficiently advanced technology is indistinguishable from magic.
Exactly. What we call paranormal today could be commonplace tomorrow.
So as we move into the final part of our deep dive, I think it's time to turn the focus back to the listener.
What resonates with you most from what we've discussed? Do you find yourself leaning towards skepticism, or are you more open to the possibility of the paranormal? Have you had any experiences that challenge conventional explanations?
We'd love to hear your thoughts, your insights, even your own encounters with the unexplained.
Because at the end of the day, it's through open dialogue and challenging our assumptions that we can truly expand our understanding of ourselves and the world around us.
Okay, so we've been on this whirlwind tour of the paranormal.
Talking about extraordinary abilities, hidden potentials, even reality shifts. It's a lot to take in.
It is. It really makes you question, what's actually believable.
Right. And you know what? These sources, they don't offer any easy answers.
They really don't.
But they do give us so many different perspectives,
Yeah.
They make us consider things we might not have thought about before.
And even if we're super skeptical about all this, there are still some pretty strange phenomena out there.
Oh, absolutely. Things that are hard to explain with conventional science.
Exactly. So how do we make sense of it all? What's the key to navigating this world of the paranormal?
I think critical thinking is essential here.
Yeah.
It's not about just accepting or rejecting everything we hear. It's about examining the evidence,
Right.
looking at different explanations, and then coming to our own conclusions.
Okay, so let's put on our critical thinking hats for a minute.
Yeah.
One thing that really stands out to me is the huge variety of people and abilities we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's incredible. We've got Angelique Cotton with her supposed electromagnetism.
The CIA and remote viewing.
It's like a buffet of the paranormal.
Exactly. And it makes me wonder, could there be different explanations for different abilities? Maybe some of them are rooted in physics or biology, while others are more psychological or even social?
That's definitely possible. And some of the sources actually touch on this idea.
Oh, really?
Yeah, like the Arabic text talks about Sidhi coming from spiritual practices.
Right.
While some modern researchers are looking for biological explanations for psychic phenomena.
It's like we need a more complex way of looking at these abilities. Something beyond just real or fake.
Exactly. And I think that's one of the most valuable things about this deep dive.
Yeah.
It's not about finding all the answers. It's about asking the right questions and being open to exploring the unknown.
We've gone from ancient spiritual traditions to modern science to government secrets. What a journey.
It really is. And what I find so fascinating is how people have been drawn to these mysteries for centuries. Across cultures and time periods, we're still asking the same fundamental questions about reality consciousness, human potential.
It's like this drive to explore the unknown is just part of who we are as humans.
And maybe it's that very drive that's led to so many amazing discoveries and creations throughout history.
The willingness to question, to imagine, to push the boundaries of what we know.
So as we wrap up this deep dive, I want to leave you with a final thought.
A little something to ponder.
What if the real key to unlocking these mysteries isn't about finding proof out there in the world? What if it's about looking inward? Exploring the uncharted territories within ourselves.
What if the most profound discoveries are waiting for us not in labs or ancient texts, but in our own consciousness?
Maybe by cultivating our own awareness, exploring the power of our minds, and really embracing a sense of wonder.
We can start to unravel the secrets of the paranormal.
And tap into that incredible potential that lies within us all.
It's an invitation to go on a journey of self-discovery.
To question everything.
And to embrace the mysteries at the heart of human existence.
So as we conclude this deep dive into the world of the paranormal, remember to keep exploring.
Keep questioning.
And keep an open mind.
To the wonders that lie beyond the ordinary.
Until next time, happy deep diving.